Hey, hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, Earthlings on planet Earth, wherever you may be. This is going to be a slightly longer one. I really hope my phone doesn't split it into two or fill up halfway through. I'm going to tell you the story of how I trained to be a croupier in a casino. Unsuccessfully so, unfortunately. I can't remember the exact year. I think it was 1996. It was definitely after my father died and that shitty year, and Thomas had moved out and left me with a ton of problems, and I was looking for some direction in my life, something positive to do. And I saw an advert in the local newspaper, trainee croupiers wanted at a local casino. And the deal was that they would train people for months, if it took months, for as long as it took, with the roulette tables and the poker and the blackjack, for free, but that the trainee, obviously, you weren't being paid anything either. It was a really good deal, a really great idea. Because even though, some of the trainees complained they weren't being paid, but you can go to casino school. There really is such a thing. And it's very, very, very expensive. Whereas this casino were offering their time and their resources and their inspectors to train people up for free. So the casino was making an investment in the trainees, and the trainees were making an investment in their future by attending. All we had to do was go from 6 o'clock in the evening until 9 o'clock in the evening for the training, which is exactly what I did, and I loved it. I loved it. I'm a terrible fingernail biter, but I even grew my fingernails because I wanted to be a croupier so badly. I'd been to Gibraltar in 1992, and I'd been to the old Rock Casino, which was fantastic. That has been demolished now, very, very sadly. I think it was the most gorgeous casino on planet Earth. I went there with a boyfriend at the time, and I just thought it was so James Bond, so glamorous. And I was trying to find a way of moving back. Well, I never lived in Gibraltar then, but I'd been to Gibraltar, and my ambition was to come and live in Gibraltar, and I wanted to work at the Rock Casino. But it became unsafe, so they dismantled it. Very, very sad. So I signed up for this trainee, and I thought, even if I don't get a job in Gibraltar, maybe Monte Carlo, or maybe one of the ocean liners, or basically any casino. I even signed up for French lessons every week because I thought, I'm going to learn French. We had to learn a lot of maths. We had to memorize a lot of maths. We had to learn tricks and techniques for working out the maths, because especially with the roulette table, there's a lot involved. 17 times table came into play a lot. So I'd go in every night. It was every night, Monday to Friday, 6 o'clock till 9 o'clock. And we had a brilliant laugh. The other trainees were fantastic. The inspectors, the supervisors, all of them. I loved it. I loved the ambience of the casino. I just loved all of it. I'm not a gambler, but I loved the feel of it, the atmosphere. And then I would come home in the evening, and between sort of 9:30 and 11:30, I would do my maths. I'd do my homework. They actually gave us homework. They gave us times tables. The training was second to none. It was a little casino. I can't remember the name of the road. There's Western Road in Brighton, and then there's the Seafront Road, and it was one of those that ran north-south between the two. But I can't remember the name of the casino. It was a very small casino, very cute, very chic. And when we signed up for it, they explained that we all needed licensing by Brighton Police. I think you can see where this story is going. Anyway, they gave us a form to fill in, so I filled in the form. I did not, and do not to this day, have a criminal record. No convictions. But I did fill in the box. They said, even if you don't have convictions, can you give us any history if you've ever had any involvement with the police? So in this sort of tiny little box, I put in as much information as I could because of Thomas. I had had encounters with them. There had been dealings with them. Obviously, David had been phoning me up. I was actually invited to Hove Police Station round about 96, 97, where a WDC sat me down and said, we as an organisation at Sussex Police are aware that he has been phoning you up on a regular basis, that we believe this is an unhealthy thing for him to be doing. I was invited if I wanted to make a complaint about him, and I said no, because I said I'm equally guilty. I didn't put the phone down. I did talk to him. And as I've said before, it was always very complicated with me and David. I don't hate his guts, not to this day. He's a very intricate character. But she said he has been told that he's not only not allowed to phone you anymore, he is not allowed to arrest you, he's not allowed to investigate you, he's basically not allowed to go near you at all. Okay, and she said we as an organisation would appreciate it, Fiona, if you didn't encourage him in any way, shape or form. So that had happened, and I mean, how do you put all this on in a little tiny box? But I did. And my training went on and on and on, and I'm not blowing my own trumpet, but I was bloody good. I also learned how to shuffle chips, if anyone knows how to do that. There are videos of me doing it on the internet on another channel, an old channel I used to have. I think it's called Fiona Hesketh. And I learned how to flip chips. I was good at the maths. I was getting on with the French. For the first time in my life, I really felt I had direction. It was taking my mind off Thomas. It took my mind off everything. I just thought, this is clean, and I'm on my way, and this will be a ticket out of this town. Not that I don't love Brighton and Hove, I do, but at that point, I had to get out of there. There were other officers, it wasn't just David. There were others that had obsessions with Joan and Neville Mont's daughter, and anyway, all the trainees applied for their licences, and as the weeks ticked by, one by one they were called to the manager's office and told, here's your licence, and there you go, we're offering you a contract of employment, when are you ready to start? And our group of trainees was becoming smaller and smaller and smaller. Just wait for this boat to pass. What a lovely boat. Isn't that a lovely boat? Anyway, there was me and another girl, and it was dropping and dropping in numbers until it was just me and her. And she confided in me and a few of the other trainees. She said, my brother has a criminal record, and I think that's going to be held against me. She herself did not have a record. And sure enough, she was called down to meet with the Brighton licensing officer when he came to visit, and she came back up and said, he's told me no chance. And she was a little tearful, and she left, and my heart sank. I knew. Anyway, I just carried on. I'm a very tenacious character. I thought, I'm not going to give up, I'm not going to give in. I carried on going, and about a week or two later the licensing officer came, and it was my turn to go and have an interview with him. And he said to me, you're a piece of crap. I mean, I was a young girl, I was very baby-faced, fresh-faced, not really the character I am today. I was a lot more quiet, sort of fresh out of my mum and dad's sort of P's and Q's and how you behave. So, and I'd never been spoken to like that. Well, I'd never done anything to deserve being spoken to like that, and so to be spoken to when it was completely uncalled for like that was a shock. And I said, but I've worked really hard. I don't have a criminal record. And I did explain that I have an ex-boyfriend who's been in and out of the nick for car theft. I've explained all of that. And he said, why should I give you a licence when a really decent human being could be given this opportunity? And I was absolutely floored. And I said, what do you want me to do? Go on the dole? Then I'm a drain on society, and people like you will say you're a drain on society. Would you rather I just curl up and die in the corner? You don't want me to make the effort and do this training? And he said, I don't care what you do. You're a piece of crap. Anyway, I kind of burst into tears, left the room, and pulled myself together, went back up on the floor. I thought, damn it, he didn't say no, I'm not giving up. And he didn't say no. He said he'd think about it. He said, think yourself lucky. So I continued going in for the next 3 or 4 nights. And the last night that I went in, I overheard the manager. I'm sure he said it loudly so I could hear. He said, "Oh, is she not got the message yet? She's still coming in." And one of the other managers said, "Well, she hasn't been told no, in all fairness." So he called me down to the office and he said, "You're not getting a licence. You didn't tell us that you had a history with Sussex Police." And I said, "I did. I filled the box in and I have explained to some of the other managers, and it's on my application form. Can't you get a copy out?" And he said, "We've lost your application." And I said, "What? You can't do that. I'm sure you can't do that by law." And he said, "Oh yes, we can. It's gone." And he said, "Good luck with complaining about that. Now get out of my casino." And that was the end of my not even short-lived career as a croupier, and one of the many reasons that for a long time I was extremely resentful towards Sussex Police. But today I don't hold it against the whole force, the bad behaviour of that licensing officer. I really don't. And I want to do a whole video actually defending the police and talking about what a difficult job it is that they do. I know I do criticise them a lot. I have never had a really positive experience with them, but I do understand what a difficult job they do. And unfortunately, horrible ambassadors like that gentleman do create bigger problems for the larger personnel in the force. Anyway, thoughts, opinions below.